Can you speak on the differences between borrowing when employed versus self-employed?
Sure. Yeah, it's significantly harder to borrow when you're self-employed. Borrowing when employed, you just have an employment letter and a pay stub, and that's the number that we use. When you're self-employed, it gets more challenging, especially when you're incorporated. So you're self-employed, lenders want to see a 2-year average because there's a lot less security in self-employment. I mean, that's negotiable theoretically, but the lender's always going to want to see a 2-year average on your tax returns to see what kind of income that you made. If you're incorporated, it even gets more challenging because a lot of lenders the vast majority of lenders will actually ignore, they'll want to see your financials to make sure you're not losing money. But if your even if your financials after you pay yourself still have significant retained earnings or net income, will not actually count those. Some lenders will count some of it. There's a couple of lenders that are a little better at it than others, but the vast majority won't. So what you end up with is if you are self-employed, and let's say you make $300,000 profit a year, but you only pulled out 40 last year because you didn't have any personal expenses, or you sold some kind of personal asset and you just didn't need money. So you didn't pull a bunch out, because why pay taxes for no reason? The lender will just consider that you only made $40,000, even though you have a net income of $300,000 in your corp. So it's one of those things you do when you're incorporated. Make sure that if you're planning on buying in the next couple of years or being a real estate investor, you need to have regular conversations with your mortgage broker. I actually encourage all my clients to connect me with when they're going to be buying anything, personal or not, to connect me with their accountant and just give us permission to talk to each other so that I can make sure that their accountant doesn't, defer taxes for 6 months and thereby inhibit their ability to actually purchase for a couple of years because they've decided to defer taxes because it saves them a couple $1,000s in interest or something like that.